For over 40 years, Sam Neill's acting talents have enthralled audiences across stage and screen. But in recent years, the Jurassic Park star has faced his greatest challenge yet, in a battle against a rare and aggressive blood cancer. Join Facts First as we explore the New Zealand native's cancer journey, his fearless outlook on mortality, and his enduring passion for life. Sam's cancer diagnosis. In early 2022, Sam Neill was in LA promoting the new Jurassic World film when he first noticed something was wrong. He had discovered some swollen glands and initially thought it was just exhaustion from the demanding promotional tour. But when he returned to Sydney for further tests, the situation became much more alarming. According to Neill, when the nurse scanned his throat, she dropped her equipment and rushed out of the room in a panic. It was then he realized this was likely something very serious. Further tests confirmed that Neill was facing a battle with stage 3 angioimmunoblastic T-cell lymphoma, an aggressive and rare form of blood cancer. He recalled the brutal regimen of chemotherapy that followed the devastating diagnosis. For months, he underwent the intense treatments, which took a severe physical toll on his body. There were times when Neill could barely recognize the gaunt face staring back at him in the mirror. He was stripped of his strength and vitality. At one point, he stated it was clear he was in a fight for his very life. The tumor continued to spread, putting Neill at grave risk. According to Neill's son, his father was practically skin and bones, reduced to a fragile shadow of his former self. He could barely hug him as the cancer systematically broke down Neill's health. For those difficult months, he was embroiled in a terrifying battle. Despite the grim prognosis, Neill held on to hope. Battling the disease. After months of intensive chemotherapy, Neill's cancer proved resistant to the initial drug regimens used to treat it. According to his doctor, the aggressive tumor began to adapt and overcome the drugs before they could even finish the first round of treatment. It was a dire setback that required an urgent change in strategy. With the cancer mutating to reject the chemotherapy agents, doctors desperately searched for an alternative medication. His physician decided to try more experimental drugs, hoping the innovative approach could outmaneuver the cancer cells. Miraculously, Neill responded extremely well to the cutting-edge pharmaceuticals. Within a short period, the new treatment succeeded in driving his cancer into remission. It was an incredible turnaround, as Neill went from being on death's door to seeing real improvements in his health. Now, a year after beginning the novel medication, Neill remains in remission. He continues receiving infusions of the life-saving drugs every 2 weeks. Doctors say he will need to stay on this indefinite treatment plan to keep the cancer at bay for as long as possible. They know the drugs will eventually stop working, but for now, they're giving Neill the priceless gift of time. Though the treatment worked wonders against the cancer, it has not been an easy road. The grueling chemotherapy sessions extract their own painful price. Neill has described the process as going 10 rounds with a professional boxer. It leaves him utterly depleted, but he says enduring the fight is better than the alternative. The physical cost has been immense, but Neill's determination and positivity have been instrumental. He acknowledges the treatment won't last forever, but he intends to maximize the time he has left. For now, his cancer is in remission and he's stabilized on his current medication. And he remains grounded in the present, grateful for each day the treatment affords him. Not afraid of death. Despite the severity of his cancer diagnosis, Sam Neill has maintained a positive spirit and embraced life. When asked about the prospect of dying, Neill asserted that he's not afraid or worried about death itself, but he admitted that passing away prematurely would annoy him greatly, as there are still many things he wants to experience. He stated that while death does not scare him intrinsically, he would very much like to live another decade or two. He expressed hope that his current treatment will continue holding the cancer at bay and allow him to spend more time with his beloved grandchildren as they grow up. Neill also voiced excitement about seeing the maturation of the olive trees and cypresses he planted on his property. The idea of not being present for these milestones troubles him deeply. According to Neill, dying holds no allure for him. He remains invested in living and doesn't dwell on what may come after. He says he has an abundance of personal and professional pursuits that keep him engaged and fulfilled. He intends to continue pursuing every every opportunity that sparks his interest rather than wasting time worrying about the end. When first diagnosed, his prognosis was extremely grim. Back then, dying was not some abstract concept, but an imminent threat he battled every day. Even in the darkest period, staring down the possibility of death, his practical personality did not entertain pointless fretting. He accepted the reality and steeled himself to fight with every ounce of willpower. Now that he's defied the odds and responded well to treatment, he feels a renewed sense of purpose. While he recognizes death could take him at any time, he focuses on appreciating the present. Staying active. Sam Neill has always derived meaning from his acting career and was determined not to let the illness force him into dormancy. Despite the physical and emotional toll, he continued working on films and television projects, even amidst chemotherapy sessions. According to Neill, the prospect of retirement fills him with dread. To be robbed of doing the work he loves due to declining health would be heartbreaking. Neill has found remaining productive provides him with a great sense of purpose during this challenging chapter. In the past year, he's been busy promoting his candid memoir, which detailed his cancer battle for the first time. He also filmed an adaptation of Lane Moriarty's novel Apples Never Fall alongside his awesome castmates. Additionally, Neill starred in the latest season of the acclaimed miniseries The 12. After facing down cancer, he now cherishes these opportunities more than ever. Beyond acting, he's continued his passion project of making wine at his vineyard in New Zealand. He established the winery 30 years ago, and it's grown into a flourishing success. Neill often travels there between filming and promotional obligations to check on the newest vintages. Tasting the fruits of his labor is one of Neill's greatest joys, and the trips provide a respite from the tribulations of treatment. Even in his mid-70s, he displays endless creativity and resolve. While the cancer and chemotherapy have weathered his constitution, they have only strengthened his spirit. Neill acknowledges he never imagined still working at this age and stage, but feels no reason to slow down yet. Though his energy may be diminished, his zest for living has only intensified. By commitments, great and small, Neill fills his hours with purpose. He focuses on the projects and places that make him beam with satisfaction. He understands time is precious, and while cancer has taken so much, it will not rob him of doing what he loves the most. Sam Neill has been open about the raw and often unglamorous struggles of his cancer battle, but has balanced the candor with grace and optimism. While honest about the anguish, he refuses to let hardship taint his love of life. This uplifting outlook serves as a powerful example that provides comfort and motivation to others experiencing adversity. Now it's time to hear from you. What lessons can we take from Neill's courageous yet lighthearted response to his diagnosis? And how can we apply it to our own lives? What's your thoughts on that? Let us know in the comments section below.